We are here in front of our favorite local game store, Draxtar Games, which is located in Batavia, Illinois, in the States. We are getting ready to go inside and talk to one of the owners of the store, Dan, and he's going to fill us in on what Draxtar Games has to offer and what we should look for in the future of gaming. We are at Draxtar Games with one of the store owners, Dan, who was kind enough to let us come into his store today and check things out and talk to him a little bit about their life in the game store. Thanks for having us.
No problem. No problem.
So, how did you decide to open up a game store in the first place, and why here?
Well, it's not like one day I woke up and realized, bam, I'm opening up a store today. A lot of things happened. I incorporated in 2006 Draxtar Games in the hopes to open a store. And one of the reasons I wanted to open a store is I felt that the companies that dominated the area didn't support me, didn't support my generation for tabletop gaming. It's one of the big games that I'm into. So I incorporated in 2006 and quickly realized I need a lot more money. And you have to have the space open before most distributors will deal with you. So I tried selling on eBay and that sort of thing, but it wasn't going to be able to make enough money fast enough to do that sort of thing. So, this place was a vacant space for about 4 years. And I drive by here on a somewhat regular basis because my father lives near here. And it's close to 88, which means people have easy access to get here. There is food down the road.
Yes, there is.
So people that are here for the long haul, for a long 8-hour game or whatever, can stop, take a break, and get something to eat. So this seemed like a really good location. The question was going to be, can I afford it?
I'm sure overhead's probably not cheap, so.
No, real estate period is the biggest, one of the biggest costs, fixed costs that you have to figure out if you can afford it or not, or you think you can. And when we first came in here, they gave us a rate that we laughed at and we walked away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. And because we were looking for half of what they told us we wanted, but everywhere else was like 3/4 of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we probably looked through like 20, 25 different places, almost landed on one, that fell through, and our real estate agent said, hey, we got this great place, we think we can get the rate you're looking for, and they're like, it just happened to be this place. So we started looking here, and it ended up working out in the long run.
Ended up anyway. Well, that's cool. Yeah. That's good. Has it gone like you thought it would, having a store?
One of the big things in my life is I've learned to really not, I can't anticipate what it is going to be like. You know, I can have big hopes and dreams, but it never seems to work out exactly the way you figured it, so I don't really try to figure out what it is exactly what I want. I had a dream, I had a vision, I built it. Is this where I want it to be? Is this exactly the way I thought it was going to be? I have no idea.
Probably to a point it's good that you're not locked into an exact mold of how you wanted it to be too. Because that's how you grow.
Yeah, you have to have room to make changes based on what your customers want to do.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of customers, obviously Magic, 40K, big here. Are those your main draws to the store?
Well, yes and no. Okay, the big draws is yes, we play 40K, yes, it's Magic, and of course that's probably the most product I sell. But what brings a lot of other people in here is the range of the other miniatures that we offer, where you can come in and play any game. You can use any miniature in that game, and we don't like press crazy rules on people, basically pushing our customers out the door saying you can't do that. So you can come in and play any game you want, any way you want, and I think that's what draws people to our store.
I think that's awesome. Coming from somebody who has played very little tabletop things, I like that, because especially when you start looking at the expense of different things, to know I don't have to get into a full-fledged purchase of something and put lots of money into something that I'm not even 100% sure that I'm sold on and that I want to do, I think is a big selling point. So that's pretty cool. What's your favorite game? I have a guess based on what we've watched you do here, but what would you say your favorite is?
Well, ultimately it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, good call. That was the one I guessed.
Yeah, I started Dungeons and Dragons in 6th grade, so I think that makes me 12, and that's where it all began. And really, it began with my father. He did HO scale trains. His era was World War II, end of World War II, so for mid 40s, and so I'm like, this is great. I mowed lawns, I shoveled snow, and I started buying HO scale figures, and I'm painting up little World War II guys. And finally my dad goes, so what are you going to do with those guys? And I'm like, well, there's a machine gun nest up on that hill. I'm going to put some snipers on that building over there. And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't think so. In pure fear that one of his engines would derail, fall 3 feet, and brass engines in the 80s were really expensive. They're still expensive now, but
Sure.
So at that point I was in the comic book store. I saw, was it the Knights of Light, which was made by Ralph Partha, I think, and I bought that and started painting knights in shining armor.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Dungeons and Dragons, we've both played a little bit in our younger years, and we've just recently kind of started trying to get our kids to play it too. And ironically, at your last auction here, we bought one of the Dungeons and Dragons that has the mat and little cardboard figures with it, and we played that with the kids recently at home. Had a great time. Had so much fun. So it's definitely a little something for everybody in that.
Absolutely. And it's a great cooperative game. It teaches some leadership skills and empathy, so you can actually try to get your kids to try to put yourselves in another human being's shoes and try to get to understand, well, how would they feel in that situation and not you? So a lot of people grow up not ever developing that skill, and that's huge.
Brand new gamer. If I've never played a tabletop game ever, and I walked into your store and said, I want to try something, like what would be the go-to? What would you try to steer somebody to?
Science fiction is huge. And there's a very straightforward and simple game called Warhammer 40,000. If someone's brand new, never done anything, and they're definitely talking about science fiction is the genre that they like, I'm definitely dropping them onto Warhammer 40,000 because it's so simple to get somebody into the basics of the game. Now the game is a lot more complex these days, but the general rules of moving and shooting, the numbers are set, so I don't have to do any math or do any heavy reading to understand what's going on. It's very easy for me to teach somebody Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, that's cool. And I know we stumbled in here by accident almost one day when you had a game day going on here, which we both got such a kick out of, and I can't say enough for how we want to do our part to help bring people in on that because it was so much fun. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we offer a lot of different miniatures here, and a lot of people play different games now. One of the bigger companies has stumbled slightly, and many people have broken in many different directions as far as miniature games. So, and any game, role-playing, cards, whatever. But so our game day is our attempt to give our community a chance to reach out and get other people into their favorite game. Because I might play a game but I can only find 2 or 3 players for.
Sure.
Game day gives that person who loves that game the chance to show it to other people, show their love and how awesome the game is, and get them into it. So then they have more players.
That's awesome.
Building our community, essentially.
That is very awesome. So, big question. I don't know if you've thought about it a little bit. Where do you see tabletop gaming go? Like, where is it going to go from here?
That's a tough one. The biggest tabletop company is having some issues, which is allowing a bunch of other companies to step in. And people are scattering to every direction to play these different games. So it's getting harder and harder to get people together to play specific games and make bigger events out of them.
Big question, looking at where games are headed, where do you think the future of miniature gaming is going?
That's a good question. Right now, of course, in Chicagoland, Warhammer 40K is huge. The company itself is having some issues and driving people in all different directions. So we see all kinds of different games popping up, which is good for the sense of competition, but of course at the same time it's kind of breaking up the community when it comes to miniature gaming. But I also foresee the potential for another big futuristic game to step up and take on Warhammer 40,000. I think it's a fantastic game, but the people that are leaving, most of them still want to play 40K.
Okay.
You know, so they're taking other games and that are designed for skirmish and try to play them at 40K size, which generally doesn't work. So eventually a lot of them get frustrated and try, keep jumping from game to game to figure out where can I get this big, awesome feel and, smash lots of things.
Sure.
So I think there's potential for Warlord Games is putting together a new science fiction game, and it sounds like they're trying to go big, epic scale like Warhammer 40K, and if they do it right, I could see a big competitor for Warhammer 40,000.
I think you're probably right, that it makes sense because obviously people like that. People have consistently liked that and have stayed with it over time, so you could find something that works to that same genre, and it can get that same kind of draw with people in there, provided people are willing to try it.
Right.
If they're willing to take that step and branch away from what they already know, there could definitely be some big potential there.
Absolutely.
Well, we would like to thank Dan for having us at Draxtar Games. We've really enjoyed being here. You will see more of us. Thanks very much.